Why is it that the people we help are often the first to betray us? Why does the hand we extend in kindness sometimes get bitten? The answer lies not in them, but in us, in the expectations we carry and the illusions we allow to grow. When we help someone, we often do so hoping for gratitude, loyalty, or recognition. We expect that our generosity will be returned in kind, that our effort will create bonds that cannot be broken. But the truth is, nothing outside of us belongs to us. Other people's hearts are their choices, their actions. These are beyond our control. We live in a world where every person walks their own path, driven by their own desires, fears, and needs. Some will accept your help, and some will turn it against you. This is not injustice. This is reality. To be surprised by betrayal is to misunderstand the nature of people and the nature of life. Expect nothing in return when you help, because the moment you attach your action to a hoped-for outcome, you create a chain of suffering around yourself. When you act with expectation, you give power to forces that are entirely outside of your control. Other people's gratitude, loyalty, or recognition is not yours to command, and hoping for it sets you up for disappointment, frustration, and even bitterness. If you give with the silent demand that something must be returned, you are no longer free. Your mind becomes enslaved to the reactions of others, and your peace is surrendered. True generosity is a gift of action, and not a bargaining of favor. It is not a transaction, nor a tool to manipulate how people behave toward you. Because when you begin to see kindness as a tool, the act itself loses its virtue. Giving should be an expression of your own integrity, a reflection of your understanding that your power lies in what you can control, your choices, your actions, your thoughts, and not in what others do in response. The expectation of return is one of the most common sources of human suffering. We see it in friendships, in family, in colleagues, and in strangers. We act, we invest, we extend ourselves, and when the return does not meet our imagined standard, we feel betrayed, angry, or resentful. This reaction is not caused by the world, or it is caused by our attachment. When you help without expectation, every outcome becomes neutral. If someone responds with gratitude, that is a pleasant result, but it is not the reason you acted. If someone betrays or ignores your effort, the fault is not yours, because your intention was never dependent on their behavior. You separate your virtue from the world's randomness, and in doing so, you shield your mind from unnecessary suffering. Acting without expectation does not mean indifference. It means clarity. It means understanding that every person walks their own path, shaped by desires, fears, and ignorance that you cannot change. When you act with expectation, you are trying to bend the world to your will, and life will inevitably resist. Every betrayal or slight becomes a weight on your mind, because you believed it should not happen. The Stoic path is to act rightly and let the consequences fall as they may. Your intention, your integrity, and your discipline are what matter. If you give because it is the correct action, not because it must be acknowledged or repaid, you are free. Your mind remains calm, your heart remains open, and your power remains intact. Expect nothing in return, because expectation creates dependency. Dependency creates weakness. If your happiness, your sense of self-worth, or your judgment of value is tied to what others do for you or how they respond to you, you have placed your control outside yourself. You have surrendered the one domain you truly command, your own mind. To be free, to be strong, to live without the chains of bitterness and disappointment, You must act according to your own principles, not in the hope of shaping someone else's behavior. The world may reward you, betray you, or ignore you entirely. But if your actions come from your own integrity, these events cannot touch the core of your strength. Our giving without expectation also teaches resilience. You begin to see human behavior as it is, without illusion or wishful thinking. You learn that loyalty, gratitude, and recognition are gifts from others, not guarantees. You learn that betrayal is not a reflection of your failure, but of the nature of people. By removing expectation, you remove the seed of suffering and plant the seed of freedom, of clarity, of unshakable peace. You act, you serve, you give, and your virtue remains untouched, because it depends on no one but yourself. People's choices are beyond your control. Betrayal reflects them, not you. This is a truth that few accept easily, because the mind naturally believes that it can shape the world through its desires and actions. We act, we speak, we give, we trust, and we hope that others will behave as we wish. We hope that they will repay our kindness, honor our trust, and align their actions with our expectations. But life does not work according to our personal desires. Every person has their own mind, their own impulses, their own fears and ambitions. Their choices are shaped by experiences, weaknesses, ignorance, and self-interest that you cannot command. To believe otherwise is to set oneself up for disappointment. When betrayal comes, it is not a reflection of your worth, nor is it a judgment on your actions. It is the result of someone else acting according to their own nature, following impulses that have nothing to do with your intentions. The world is filled with people who act out of fear, selfishness, or confusion, and you cannot control these tendencies. If you attempt to attach your peace to their behavior, you will always be vulnerable. You give them power over your mind, power over your emotions, power over your sense of self. The Stoic approach is to recognize that this power is never theirs to hold. Your mind is yours, your choices are yours, your character is yours, and they remain untouched by what others do. If you allow them to remain so, understanding that people act according to their own nature changes how you respond to betrayal. It allows you to see it as a natural event, not a personal injury. When someone turns against you, when someone betrays your trust, it is a reflection of their character, not a reflection of your failure. You can examine their actions, learn from them, and adjust your own expectations in the future, but you do not need to carry bitterness or anger. Their choice is theirs, and your response is yours. You retain your freedom when you see this truth clearly. Control your perception, control your response. When betrayal happens, the instinct is to react with pain, anger, or resentment. But these reactions only harm you, because they give energy to something outside your control. Instead, see betrayal as a teacher. Observe it, understand it, and let it pass without disturbing your inner calm. The Stoic mind is not blind to wrongdoing, but it does not allow wrongdoing to poison its peace. It recognizes that other people will act according to their desires, sometimes rightly, sometimes wrongly, but never in a way that can diminish the virtue or integrity of a person who understands their own nature. Recognizing that betrayal reflects others rather than yourself also allows you to act with greater clarity in the future. You can choose whom to trust, whom to help, and how much to invest, without expecting the world to conform to your values. You act according to your principles, not according to the hope that others will honor them. In this way, Your decisions are informed by reality, not by illusion. You avoid unnecessary suffering while maintaining integrity and generosity, because your actions are rooted in your own judgment, not in dependence on external approval. Ultimately, betrayal is inevitable, but its power over you is optional. The moment you understand that other people's choices are their own, you stop internalizing their failures, their selfishness, or their treachery. You no longer need to carry the weight of their decisions. Your virtue, your peace, and your strength remain intact because they depend on yourself alone. Others may betray, deceive, or disappoint, but you remain free, unshaken, and capable of acting rightly. Life will always contain choices that are beyond your control. But your mastery lies in choosing how to respond, in maintaining integrity, and in protecting the tranquility of your mind, regardless of what others do. True virtue lies in acting rightly, not in seeking gratitude or loyalty. Many people confuse kindness with expectation. They believe that if they do good, they should receive honor, recognition, or repayment. This is a misunderstanding of virtue, because virtue is not a contract with the world. It is an internal quality, a commitment to act according to reason, integrity, and moral clarity. Acting rightly is not about what others will say or do. It is about aligning your behavior with your principles, about ensuring that your choices reflect the highest standards you hold for yourself. When virtue depends on external approval, it becomes fragile because the outside world is unpredictable, inconsistent, and often ungrateful. The essence of virtue is independence from external outcomes. When you act rightly for the sake of acting rightly, your peace is secure. The world cannot take it from you. Gratitude or loyalty from others may come or may never come, but they are neither necessary nor sufficient for your goodness. If you wait for approval or reward, you are no longer free. You are living at the mercy of forces beyond your control. By placing your sense of value in your own actions, you create a foundation of stability that no betrayal or ingratitude can shake. The Stoic mind measures worth by internal alignment, not by external responses. Acting rightly does not mean ignoring the consequences of your actions or refusing to see reality. It means recognizing that you cannot control the behavior of others. You can only control your own decisions and your own integrity. When someone betrays you, when someone ignores your effort, it is not a reflection of your failure, but a reflection of your expectation. If your purpose was to act rightly, the outcome belongs to the world. Your role is complete the moment you choose to act with virtue. You give freely, honestly, and courageously, and what happens afterward is neither a reward nor a punishment. It simply is. Virtue and moral clarity give power over the mind. When your actions are rooted in principle, rather than hope for recognition, your strength is unshakable. You do not need the validation of others to confirm your choices, because the confirmation comes from within. Every act of integrity, every correct decision builds resilience. It teaches the mind to rely on reason, rather than on the unpredictable currents of human emotion. It cultivates a calm that is independent of circumstance, a strength that cannot be undermined by betrayal or neglect. Those who act only for recognition are vulnerable to disappointment. Those who act from virtue are immune to it. This approach also frees you to act without calculation or fear. When the mind is not weighed down by expectation, it can give fully, respond fully, and engage with the world honestly. You act without hesitation, without the burden of, "What will I get in return?" You act because it is the right course, because reason and integrity demand it. This clarity allows for discernment, for seeing situations as they are and people as they are, without the distortion of hope or resentment. You no longer see betrayal as a personal affront, because your identity is not entangled with the reactions of others. Your identity is in your action, your principle, your virtue. Gratitude and loyalty are welcome gifts. But they are not the measure of your character. Your true measure lies in whether you act rightly when there is no audience, when no reward is promised, and when betrayal is possible. Acting rightly is a choice you can make every day, in every encounter. It is an internal compass that guides your decisions regardless of external circumstances. By focusing on virtue rather than expectation, you become unshakable, free from disappointment, and capable of maintaining your integrity, even in the face of the world's unpredictability. Our betrayal is a lesson in discernment and understanding human nature. It is a painful truth that often arrives without warning, shaking our trust and testing our patience. When someone we help turns against us, it can feel like the world itself has conspired to deceive us. But betrayal is not a reflection of our failure. It is a reflection of the reality of human behavior. People act according to their desires, weaknesses, and fears, and often their choices are shaped by self-interest, ignorance, or impulse, rather than by loyalty, gratitude, or fairness. Our understanding this allows us to see betrayal not as an injustice, but as an inevitable feature of life that teaches us valuable lessons about discernment, judgment, and the limits of control. Discernment begins with recognizing that not everyone who benefits from your help will honor your trust. Some will act out of gratitude, some will act out of convenience, and some will act purely in their own interest. If we are unprepared for this reality, we are vulnerable to disappointment and anger. But when we accept that human behavior is unpredictable, we can approach relationships and acts of kindness with clear eyes. We can offer help without illusion, but with awareness of both the possibilities of loyalty and the possibilities of betrayal. This understanding is not cynicism, it is clarity. It is the ability to see the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. Betrayal teaches us to measure people, not by what they say, but by what they do. Words can be empty, promises can be hollow, and appearances can be deceptive. True character is revealed through consistent action, especially under pressure, or when there is no immediate reward. By observing patterns rather than isolated gestures, we develop the skill to discern whom to trust and whom to approach with caution. This discernment protects us from repeated pain and allows us to invest our energy wisely. It also frees us from the illusion that our kindness alone can change the nature of another person. At the same time, our betrayal is a mirror that reflects our own expectations and attachments. When we are hurt by someone's treachery, it is often because we believe that our actions should guarantee a particular outcome. We forget that the world does not owe us gratitude, loyalty, or recognition. By examining our own assumptions, we can adjust our mindset, learning to act with integrity without tying our peace to external results. This reflection strengthens the mind, building resilience that is not dependent on the behavior of others. Understanding human nature through betrayal also allows us to approach life with greater wisdom. We recognize that everyone carries their own struggles, desires, and limitations. Some may betray us not out of malice, but out of fear, weakness, or ignorance. Others may act selfishly, because they have not cultivated the discipline to act otherwise. Seeing this, we are not compelled to react with hatred or revenge. Instead, we can respond with measured clarity, protecting our own virtue while remaining aware of the reality around us. Discernment teaches balance. It allows us to give without naive expectation, to trust without blind faith, and to act rightly without the need for external validation. Betrayal, when understood correctly, becomes a teacher rather than a wound. It trains the mind to navigate human relationships with wisdom, to recognize patterns, and to maintain composure when faced with dishonesty or treachery. Every act of betrayal encountered is an opportunity to refine judgment, strengthen inner resolve, and cultivate a mind that is aware, measured, and unshaken by the unpredictable actions of others. Do not let others' treachery harden your heart or stop your kindness. It is natural to feel pain when someone betrays you, especially when you have given freely, trusted deeply, or extended yourself in service to another. The instinct is to retreat, to build walls, to protect yourself from further harm. But the true danger lies not in the betrayal itself, but in the response it provokes within you. If you allow the actions of others to dictate your behavior, to twist your intentions, or to close your heart, then the betrayal has succeeded in taking something far more valuable than material possessions. It has taken your freedom, your virtue, your inner peace. The Stoic approach is to guard against this, to maintain integrity, and to continue acting rightly even when others fail or deceive. Kindness and virtue are not dependent on the behavior of others. They exist within the mind and the character of the person who chooses them. If betrayal occurs, it is the betrayer who has erred, and not the one who gave freely. Allowing their treachery to harden you is a form of surrender, a concession that their actions have power over your mind. The stronger path is to recognize the distinction between your choice and theirs, to maintain your principles, and to continue acting with reason, courage, and generosity. This is the mark of true resilience, a mind that cannot be broken by the unpredictability of human behavior. Every act of betrayal carries a lesson, but it does not carry the authority to dictate your character. By maintaining kindness, even after being wronged, you demonstrate mastery over your emotions and clarity of purpose. You give because it is right, not because you expect reward or recognition. You act according to principle, not in reaction to the injustices of others. This mindset does not deny reality or ignore danger. It simply refuses to allow the actions of others to corrupt your values. When you maintain your integrity in the face of betrayal, you cultivate strength that is independent of external events, and you preserve the capacity to act wisely and compassionately in the future. Hardening your heart may seem protective, but it is also limiting. It closes you off to the opportunities to help, to connect, and to act with virtue. It transforms your kindness into caution, your generosity into calculation, and your love into suspicion. The mind becomes entangled with fear, and the soul becomes burdened with resentment. This is precisely what betrayal seeks to exploit, your attachment to outcomes, your belief that giving must be safe or rewarded. By refusing to harden, you break the chain. You give freely, knowing that the world may betray, but your mind remains free, your heart remains open, and your actions remain aligned with your principles. Continuing to act with kindness does not mean being naive or ignoring patterns. It means observing clearly, learning from experience, and choosing wisely whom to trust, while never allowing the actions of others to poison your virtue. It means protecting your peace without abandoning your integrity. This balance is the essence of strength, the ability to remain open and generous, yet grounded and discerning, to offer help without expectation, yet mindful of reality, to act rightly even when others act wrongly. When betrayal comes, it is not the end of your path. It is a moment to reaffirm your commitment to your principles. By maintaining kindness, you reinforce the strength of your character, the clarity of your judgment, and the resilience of your mind. You act from reason rather than reaction, from principle rather than fear. In this way, no betrayal, no treachery, no ingratitude can ever truly touch you, because your power lies not in the world, but in yourself, and in the unwavering integrity of your own actions, and in the freedom to choose how to respond. Your peace and character depend on your response, not their actions. This is a principle that many overlook, because the mind naturally reacts to what happens outside itself. When someone betrays you, ignores your help, or acts selfishly, it is tempting to let anger, frustration, or sadness take hold. The instinct is to respond immediately, to lash out, to withdraw, or to dwell on the injury. But every moment that your mind is dominated by the behavior of others, you surrender control of your inner world. You allow someone else's choices, something entirely outside your power, to dictate your emotional state and to influence the quality of your life. True strength lies in recognizing that your responses, not the actions of others, are what determine your peace and your character. Every situation, every betrayal, every challenge is an opportunity to exercise mastery over yourself. You cannot control what others do, but you can control how you perceive it, how you interpret it, and how you act in response. When betrayal occurs, the mind that is grounded in principle does not react impulsively or out of attachment. It observes, assesses, and chooses the path of reason. By maintaining this control, you preserve your integrity and protect your peace. You remain strong, not because the world has treated you kindly, but because your strength comes from within, from the choices you make in alignment with virtue and wisdom. The first step in maintaining peace is awareness. Notice your impulses, your judgments, and your emotional reactions when faced with betrayal. Recognize the tendency to blame, to hold resentment, or to seek revenge. Understand that these reactions are natural, but that they are not mandatory. They are not the measure of your character. By pausing, reflecting, and choosing your response, you exercise the freedom that lies at the heart of true resilience. You transform a moment that could weaken you into a moment that strengthens you, a test of your self, discipline, and clarity of purpose. Choosing your response also means refusing to let the betrayal define you. When someone acts wrongly, it is their action that is at fault, not your worth. Your character is determined by the decisions you make under pressure, not by the behavior of those around you. You can respond with anger and bitterness, allowing their choices to corrupt your mind, or you can respond with calm, integrity, and reason, preserving your virtue while observing the world clearly. This does not mean ignoring injustice or being passive. It means acting intentionally, choosing each step with clarity, rather than being driven by reactive emotion. Furthermore, your response shapes the future. When you respond with reason rather than resentment, you set the tone for your own behavior and influence your environment in a subtle but powerful way. You signal to yourself and to others that your mind is steady, your principles are unshakable, and your peace is not for sale. This mindset makes it impossible for betrayal to break you. Because your strength is internal, anchored in your choices, and independent of the unpredictable actions of others. You are free to act with generosity, wisdom, and courage, knowing that no external event can diminish the quality of your mind or the value of your character. Understanding this principle also brings clarity to relationships and interactions. You begin to see that trust, loyalty, and respect are earned, but that your own conduct is never contingent on receiving them. You can act rightly, help freely, and speak honestly without the need for reciprocation or approval. You are no longer a prisoner of expectation, and no betrayal can disrupt the balance of your mind. Your responses become your armor, your peace becomes your shield, and your integrity becomes your power. In this way, the betrayal of others loses its ability to harm you, because it touches only the surface of life, while your core remains untouched, steady, and free. Help freely, accept reality, and remain unshaken by the behavior of others. This is the principle that brings true freedom to the mind, the freedom to act rightly without being bound by expectations, disappointments, or the unpredictability of people. When you offer help, it should be done from a place of understanding, a place of clarity, and a recognition that the world operates according to its own laws, not according to your desires. Helping is not a contract, it is an expression of your own integrity. By giving freely, you exercise your power over what you can control, your actions, your intentions, your character, while accepting that the outcomes lie beyond your command. Acceptance of reality is central to maintaining peace. The world will never conform to your sense of fairness or your hopes for loyalty. People may betray, deceive, fail to recognize your efforts. These events are not evidence of injustice, but evidence of the natural course of life. To resist reality is to invite frustration and suffering. To accept it is to secure freedom and clarity. When you help freely, you act according to reason and virtue, and you allow the results to unfold as they will. This detachment does not reduce the value of your action, it enhances it, because it is rooted in principle rather than in expectation. You act rightly, not because of what you might receive in return, but because that is the proper course, and that alone is sufficient for your peace. Remaining unshaken by the behavior of others requires discipline and awareness. Every human action, whether kind or cruel, is a reflection of the actor, not of you. Betrayal, ingratitude, and deception reveal the nature of others, but they do not diminish your value or your integrity. When you understand this, you are no longer vulnerable to the emotional storms caused by external events. You remain centered, acting with clarity, patience, and virtue, and your mind becomes a fortress against disappointment. No action outside yourself can penetrate the peace that comes from self-mastery. Helping freely also strengthens judgment and discernment. By observing the results of your actions without attachment, you learn which paths are wise, which people can be trusted, and which expectations are realistic. You gain insight into the patterns of human behavior, seeing clearly that loyalty and gratitude are gifts, not guarantees. You can continue to act with kindness and generosity without naivety, because your understanding is grounded in reality. This awareness does not harden the heart, it sharpens the mind, allowing you to navigate relationships and challenges with skill, integrity, and prudence. The practice of giving freely, accepting reality, and remaining unshaken fosters resilience. Life will always present situations that test patience, trust, and composure. People will act selfishly, betray confidences, or fail to honor commitments. These events are inevitable. What is not inevitable is your response. By anchoring your actions in virtue and your mind in reason, you create a buffer against the chaos of external circumstances. You become like a tree whose roots run deep, unmoved by the winds, unshaken by the storms. Your inner strength allows you to continue helping, continue trusting, and continue living according to principle, even in the presence of betrayal or ingratitude. Ultimately, the combination of helping freely, accepting reality, and remaining unshaken produces a life of integrity, clarity, and unbreakable inner strength. You act from your own principles, not from the desire to control or predict others. You experience the world as it is, rather than as you wish it to be. Your virtue becomes your anchor, your peace becomes your shield, and your mind becomes a source of power and freedom. This is the path to living without regret, without resentment, and without being dominated by the unpredictable behavior of others.